Ooh wee. Boy, I tell you one thing. When I saw that, the Magna group, the Magna conservatives are really, really upset and mad at Candace Owens. I said, I want to see what this is all about. So Candace Owens told no lies. And I'm just going to be honest with you. She told no lies. And the crazy part about it is this. I'm not even a Candace Owens supporter. I'm not a fan of hers. I have heard her, her thought process and some of the things that she talks about and discuss. And some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. I'm not a fan of. But when it comes down to this fight with Americans, fight over there in Israel and how America is getting involved with this fight over there and her take on it, I watched it. And I want you guys to watch this video as well because she is getting a lot of pushback from this one. And I'm saying to myself, wow, okay, they pissed off at her. Matter of fact, they just say they call her a traitor. They call her all kinds of things with her because she's not agreeing with having this fight over there in Israel, just the United States, or just going over there into Israel and fighting over there. So she's not agreeing with it. And let's watch the video and then we'll come back with our commentary. So let's check this out. And if you want to see the full video in its entirety, you can go to Piers Morgan Uncensored and actually watch well. So you're just gonna watch a little bit of it, right? So let's get to it.
I think that our eyes are very clear here, and we recognize that our relationship with Israel has become increasingly problematic, and it always was problematic. So I'll again ask the questions, Piers. I'm asking you because we're having a conversation. Yeah. Name something positive that our Zionist AIPAC foreign policy has brought to America.
Well, I think the positive side of, if you want an answer about that, is that America has been Israel's steadfast ally because it recognizes as a country that Israel has been under an almost unique, multifaceted threat on its border for a very long time from people that want to destroy it. That you may not see that as a benefit, but Israel has been very supportive to the United States in many ways. Right. So why shouldn't America?
I just want something concrete that has been benefit. Like we got better in America in this way. Just name something. Gas prices, just something that the average American can relate to.
Well, you're not going to have a correlation between Zionism and gas prices in America. Of course, you're not.
No, I'm just obviously
there are.
Just tell
there
me
are
one
obvious
thing
tangible benefits.
What your argument here is like, well, you get a pat on the back, and you can say that you helped this country, which was formed in 1948 by pretending to be refugees, if you will, and being invited into the homes of Palestinians, the horrific story.
Well, they weren't pretending to be refugees. They were people fleeing a Holocaust.
Let's be clear. Let me finish my statement.
What do you mean pretending to be refugees?
Let me finish my statement. When I say pretending to be refugees and being invited into the home, you would think that these people were helpless and were going to be grateful to the people that hosted them. People like Muhammad Hadid, Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid's father, who was an infant at this time in his mother's arms. She had just given birth. They had invited these refugees because of the goodness of their heart. And then one day they return home and their doors are locked and they are told that if you try to enter, you are going to be shot and killed. That is the reality of how Israel was established as a state. Okay, that is not a stain that you can wipe from history. Most Americans growing up actually believe what happened was that, okay, it was a little messy. That's what happens after wars. Borders get changed. But at the very least, they were given money. I mean, you've lived here for hundreds of years. Here's money for your property. No, that's not what happened. They were forced out of their homes at gunpoint.
Listen,
and it's wrong. So we get to be the nation on the back. According to you, the thing that America gets. Let me finish. I'm going to let you finish. It's your show. We can, but let me finish. Your argument is that what we get to be is that nation that keeps supporting it as they continue to move their borders in this way. Now we're seeing that incursion into Gaza, and we are certainly going to see it by the end of this administration in the West Bank, because like I said, that is why Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million.
Look, as you know, I oppose what the Israeli government is doing now in Gaza. I oppose the expansion of settlements on the West Bank. I think all of that is completely wrong. I do think America supports Israel because it remains the only democracy in the Middle East, and that's an important...
They're not a democracy. Stop saying that, Piers. You know better.
Well, they have elections.
It's not a democracy.
They have elections.
But who gets to vote in those elections? Do the Gazans get to vote in that election?
Well, the Israelis get to vote in Israel, obviously.
Okay, so you're basically saying America had a democracy, we had
Israel
laws that said Black Americans couldn't, Black Americans
Israel
couldn't
moved
vote.
out. It is indisputable that Israel moved out of Gaza in 2005, and there was an election, and Hamas got elected. Right now,
yeah,
I
and
agree
that's
with,
because
I agree with you. I agree with.
but
Listen,
Bibi Netanyahu was on camera saying that they were going to fund Hamas into power.
Listen,
so they orchestrated
Candace,
that because if they wanted to create
Candace,
this illusion.
finished. I agree with you that Netanyahu wanted to cause a split between the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. It was divide and rule. It was a catastrophically bad strategy, and it led to what happened on October the 7th over a 20-year period. There's no doubt it was a terrible thing that Netanyahu did. One of the many reasons I think he should go. But there was no doubt that the Israelis pulled out of Gaza and allowed them to have elections, and they elected Hamas, and the rest has been disastrous history.
Because the Israelis funded, because Bibi Netanyahu, they funded Hamas. I don't
disagree with you, but they still had elections.
So it's like we rigged an election, but look what the election results show is that they wanted to put Hamas into power. And so when we talk about who is funding these terrorists, the answer is Bibi Netanyahu. And I don't want to get into his corruption trials, but every single person watching this right now should go pursue the documentary, The Bibi Files, because it is absolutely stunning to understand.
I believe one of the reasons. I believe one of the reasons. Let me
answer the question, because you still haven't given me anything other than like you guys get a pat on the back for supporting this created nation in the Middle East. I also just like to say all of the bad things that we have gotten because of our continued relation with Israel. First and foremost, the open borders. And you can relate to this. People in the UK, they just can't seem to connect the dots.
All right.
Oh my gosh, what's happening here? But I want to say this. Okay, we don't understand where all these refugees are coming from. Oh my God, where are all these refugees coming from? Who's funding them coming over into these borders? Well, this is what you get when you keep supporting these nonstop wars, when you keep bombing where these people live. And it's not even just a conspiracy, by the way. If you're like, oh, well,
actually, you're wrong about this, because the vast majority of people coming into the UK illegally are not coming from war-torn countries in the Middle East. They're actually economic migrants.
Okay.
So that's not true.
Okay, but let's connect that. When you say economic migrants, are we talking about like
people who literally want to come to the UK for a better life?
And when Gaddafi was heading up Libya and the country was on the up and up, and he was working with the United Nations, and then all of a sudden you collapse Libya and turn it into a place where refugees are escaping.
So you guys are hearing Candace Owens debate with Piers Morgan about this situation is going on with Israel. And Piers Morgan, he's not going to say anything that's going to get his TV show canceled or whatnot, because, again, we all know who is overseeing, who's responsible for the media, who's responsible for Hollywood, who's responsible for the radio, who has their hands in a lot of this, things when it comes to America. Because Candace Owens just spilled the beans and said, hey, what have those people ever did anything for America that we can say that just give me one thing that they've done? Piers Morgan couldn't do it, because guess what? Your politicians can. Your politicians can say, hey, you know what? They giving us $100 million a la Trump, allegedly. And that's the reason why we're going over there and help the little brother out fight against Iran. Now, Candace Owens get a lot of smoke because she also said that that Israel is the little brother that's always causing some type of issues and conflict over there in the Middle East. They're the little bullies. But then when they get there, when someone is coming after the little brother, they want to get the big brother, which is America, to be able to jump and save the little brother from this catastrophe and all these different problems and issues that they had caused. And that's exactly what's going on with Israel. Israel has caused a lot of these issues over there. Now they bit off more than they can chew. And now they're looking for America because they already know for a fact they got these politicians in their pockets. So that way, hey, you know what? We gave you this money, whatever, man. We need boots on the ground. You can't treat us like you do Ukraine. You ain't going to do that. You're going to have to put boots on the ground over here because you know for a fact we got you guys bought and paid for, So that's the reason why really Donald Trump or the United States, they really get involved with. They really want to get involved with none of this. But since it's time to cash in. I mean, it's time for them to it's time for the United States to get involved with whatnot. They got to do it with them because they've been bought and paid for. And another thing and this is my last take here, but another thing that they pissed off about Candace Owens about is because she said that she has 3 sons, and this is on the same video here. We get to watch it because it's on down. But she has 3 sons, and she says, you know what? I'd rather for my kids not to be involved in this war. I prefer for them to go to jail versus going to fight this war for Israel, knowing for a fact what she knows and all the information she has given, and her take about all the behind the scene curtain stuff, how Israel has become one of those problematic situations over there with Iran having that fight. She's like, no, man, my kids ain't going over there and fighting and end up coming back home unalived in a box, fight for something they had, they don't even have no reason to be over there fighting. And I agree 1,000%. They just don't. The Americans are over there getting themselves in a situation between this conflict between Israel and Iran, what's been going on for years. And nobody wants a war. Anybody that's, understand, for one, how much the war is very expensive, but then all the stuff, all the damages and collateral damage that come behind it, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So with Iran, you can't, feel some kind of way behind Iran or whatever, because they're only, they're trying to, make sure that they don't, get wiped out or whatever. And they're tired of being picked on and bullied by Israel and whoever else over there trying to bully, over there in the Middle East. And it's unfortunate that it's come down to this and everything that's transpired or whatever, because I really believe that, we just don't really have a reason to be over there getting involved with this, whatever. But, we bit off more than we can chew. Our politicians are bought and paid for. That's why we over there. Point blank, period. That's just the end of it. So anyway, you guys want to watch this rest of this Candace Owens video, watch it on Piers Morgan Uncensored. You can definitely check it out. I would definitely recommend you do that because it's very interesting, her take. And these MAGA folks, these conservatives, they are pissed off. They want this woman head for telling the truth. And she is telling the truth. There's no lies being told at all. And I'm not a Candace Owens supporter or fan, but the truth is the truth, and the truth do hurt. So anyway, I want you guys to post your thoughts and comments in the bottom of this video as well. Let me know what y'all take on this video is about this Candace Owens situation. I'm pretty sure people are going to definitely speak up and speak out about this one. And I'm really, really dying in the comment section to read what you guys have to say, but keep it civil, all right? So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 100,000 subscribers, baby. We are on our way. Peace.
Wait. Hold on. What? You done forgotten my name? My name.